The massive war cruiser Shadow of Death moved through the darkness of space like a hungry predator. Its black hull stretched for 3 kilometers, covered in weapons that could destroy entire planets. This ship belonged to the Vorthok Empire, and every intelligent species in the galaxy knew to fear that name. Inside the ship's medical bay, Commander Veltar stood over a bed where the greatest warrior in Vorthok history lay dying. General Kexel the Ravager had conquered 17 star systems. His name made enemies surrender before battles even began. Now he could barely breathe. "How long does he have?" Velta asked the ship's chief medical officer. Healer Zixana checked the readings on her advanced scanner. The device costs more than most planets made in a year, 2 days, maybe 3. The neural plague is spreading faster than we can slow it. Veltar's massive fists clenched. The Vorthok were 3 meters tall, with thick black skin that could stop laser fire. Their red eyes glowed in the dark. They had built their empire on strength and fear, but now their greatest strength was fading away. "What about the treatment centers on Korvax Prime?" Veltar asked. "Their medicine is supposed to be the best in the galaxy." "We tried everything they had," Zixona replied. Their neural specialists said the plague was unlike anything they had seen. The crystalline collective's energy healers could not even touch it. The Zarian Hive Means bioengineers admitted defeat. Veltar looked down at his dying general. Kexel had been more than a leader. He had been like a father to Veltar when he was young. The old warrior had taught him everything about battle, about honor, about what it meant to be Vorthok. A young officer entered the medical bay. "We have received another report. The plague has spread to the Korvax system. 12 more of our warriors have fallen sick." Veltar's heart sank. The plague was not just killing individuals. It was destroying the warrior caste that held their entire empire together. If it continued spreading, the Vorthok Empire would collapse within months. "There's one more option," Zixana said quietly. "But you will not like it, tell me. The humans." Veltar's red eyes blazed brighter. "The humans.
Ow.
Those weak little creatures from the 3rd planet in the Sol system? They barely have space travel?" "I know how it sounds," Zixona continued. "But our intelligence reports show something strange. Other species have been quietly sending their sick to human space. The gentle ones of Altair sent their crown prince there last year. He was dying from quantum fever. The humans saved him." "Gentle ones are fools who never learn to fight," Veltar growled. "What could humans possibly know that we do not?" "That is what makes it so strange," Zixona said. "Their medical technology is centuries behind ours. They still use physical tools and chemical medicines. Somehow, they achieve results that our most advanced systems cannot." Veltar walked to the window that looked out into space. In the distance, he could see the lights of a Vorthok colony world. Millions of his people lived there. If the plague spread, they would all die. "The High Command will never approve asking humans for help," he said. "They would rather see the Empire fall than show weakness to lesser species." "Then we do not ask the High Command," Zixona replied. "We make the choice ourselves." Veltar was quiet for a long time. Going to the humans would be considered treason by his own people. But watching his general die slowly was worse than any punishment the High Command could give him. "Prepare the ship," he said finally. "Set course for Earth." "Sir, are you sure about this?" the young officer asked. "No," Veltar answered. "But I'm sure about what happens if we do nothing." 3 days later, the Shadow of Death dropped out of hyperspace near Earth. The small blue and green planet looked peaceful and harmless. No massive defense stations, no war fleets, just a few small space stations and some mining platforms. "Did such weak beings ever survive in this galaxy?" the young officer wondered aloud. "That is what we are about to find out," Veltar replied. On Earth, every radar screen and satellite suddenly lit up. The appearance of a massive alien warship sent panic through every government and military command center. Emergency meetings were called. Nuclear weapons were readied. The world prepared for invasion. But instead of attacking, the alien ship sent a simple message in broken English. "We require your healing touch." Dr. Park Min-ho was finishing his night shift at Seoul National University Hospital when the news broke. He had been working for 18 hours straight, treating everything from heart attacks to broken bones. He was tired and ready to go home, to his small apartment. "Oh, Dr. Park," his colleague, Dr. Kim Sora, called out. "You need to see this." She pointed to the television in the hospital waiting room. News reporters were talking quickly about alien ships and first contact. The images showed massive black vessels hovering over major cities around the world. "They're not attacking," Dr. Kim said. "They're asking for medical help." Dr. Park rubbed his tired eyes. "Medical help? From us?" "The aliens have requested that their representatives be allowed to bring a patient to major hospitals around the world. Seoul National University Hospital is one of the locations they specifically mentioned." Dr. Park looked at his hands. They were ordinary human hands, nothing special about them. He had spent 10 years learning to use them to heal people. But alien medicine was supposed to be far more advanced than anything humans had developed. "Why would they come to us?" he asked. "Nobody knows," Dr. Kim replied. "But they're coming anyway. The government has agreed to let them land. They'll be here within the hour." Dr. Park thought about going home. He thought about letting someone else handle this historic moment. But then he remembered why he became a doctor in the first place. It was not for fame or money. It was to help those who were suffering. "I'll prepare the emergency room," he said. "Whatever they need, we'll do our best to help." Outside, the massive alien ship began its descent toward the hospital. The world watched and waited to see what would happen when the scariest beings in the galaxy placed their trust in human hands. Dr. Park, Minho, had no idea that his simple decision to stay and help would change the fate of the entire galaxy. The ground shook as the alien transport ship landed in the hospital parking lot. Dr. Park Minho watched from the emergency room window as the massive vessel settled onto the concrete. The ship was smaller than the warship in orbit, but it was still bigger than the entire hospital building. "Are you ready for this?" Dr. Kim Sora asked. She stood beside him, holding a medical kit, with shaking hands. "Nobody could be ready for this," Dr. Park replied honestly. "But we're doctors. We help people who are sick or hurt. That's what we do." The transport ship's door opened with a loud hiss. A ramp extended to the ground. Dr. Park held his breath as the first alien stepped out. Commander Veltar was terrifying to look at. He stood 3 meters tall, his black skin gleaming like metal armor. His red eyes glowed in the darkness. When he moved, the ground trembled under his weight. Behind him came 6 more aliens, each one carrying weapons that looked powerful enough to destroy buildings. But they were not here to fight. 4 of the aliens carried a floating medical bed between them. On the bed lay another alien, unconscious and breathing weakly. Medical tubes and wires connected him to several alien machines that beeped and flashed with strange lights. "That must be their patient," Dr. Kim whispered. The hospital director, Dr. Shang Minsu, met the aliens at the entrance. He was a small man who looked even smaller standing next to the massive beings, but he showed no fear as he bowed politely. "Welcome to Seoul National University Hospital," he said in careful English. "We are here to help." Commander Veltar looked down at the tiny human. "You are the healers?" "We are doctors," Dr. Jang replied. "We treat sick and injured people. Please bring your patient inside." The aliens moved carefully through the hospital corridors. Their patient was too big for a normal hospital bed, so they had to use the largest room available. Nurses and doctors gathered around, staring at the scene with wonder and fear. Dr. Park stepped forward. "I am Dr. Park Minho. I will be treating your patient. Can you tell me what is wrong with him?" "This is General Kextel Veltar said. He suffers from neural plague. It attacks the brain and nervous system. Our best healers cannot cure it." Dr. Park nodded. "May I examine him?" Veltar hesitated. No alien had ever touched a Vorthok leader before, but they had come too far to stop now. "Do what you must." Dr. Park approached the bed slowly. The alien patient was enormous, probably weighing as much as 3 adult humans. His skin was thick and rough, like the bark of an old tree. But when Dr. Park placed his hand on the patient's forehead, he felt something familiar. The alien was running a fever, just like a human would. His temperature is elevated, Dr. Park said to Dr. Kim, and his breathing is shallow. These are signs we understand. One of the aliens, a female with different markings on her skin, stepped forward. I am Healer Zixona. I have been treating the general for many days. Your methods are so primitive. How can you help when our advanced medicine has failed? Dr. Park looked at the alien medical equipment. The machines were clearly more advanced than anything humans had built, but something about them felt wrong to him. They were cold and impersonal, treating the patient like a broken machine instead of a living being. May I see your medical readings? Dr. Park asked. Zixona showed him a device that displayed complex data and alien symbols. Dr. Park could not read the language, but he could see the patterns. The readings showed a brain under attack by some kind of infection, but they also showed something else. The patient's stress levels were extremely high. When did the general first become sick? Dr. Park asked. 3 weeks ago, Veltar replied. He was leading a battle against rebel forces. The sickness began during the fighting. Has he been alone since then? Dr. Park asked. I mean isolated. From others? Veltar looked confused. Of course, he is contagious. We could not risk the plague spreading to others. Dr. Park felt a sudden understanding. Dr. Kim, please prepare a comfortable bed for our patient. And I want you to stay in the room with him at all times. You want me to stay with him? Dr. Kim asked. But what if the plague spreads to humans? I don't think it will, Dr. Park said. But more importantly, I think isolation might be making his condition worse. Zixona's red eyes flashed with anger. That is impossible. Isolation prevents the spread of disease. Every civilized species knows this. For humans, isolation can be harmful, Dr. Park explained. When we are sick, we heal better when we are not alone. The presence of others who care about us helps our bodies fight disease. The aliens looked at each other in confusion. This concept was completely foreign to them. In Vorthok culture, warriors were expected to face all challenges alone. Showing weakness or needing help was considered shameful. Dr. Park began his examination. He checked the patient's pulse, looked at his eyes, and listened to his breathing. The alien's body was different from a human's, but the basics were the same: heart, lungs, brain, all working together to keep the being alive. His nervous system is under attack, Dr. Park said. But his body is also under extreme stress. In humans, chronic stress can make infections much worse. The immune system becomes weak when the mind is troubled. The mind? Veltar asked. What? Does the mind have to do with healing the body? Dr. Park smiled gently. For humans, the mind and body are connected. When we are happy and peaceful, our bodies heal faster. When we are scared or sad or alone, healing becomes much harder. He turned to the other aliens in the room. I want to try something. Instead of keeping the general isolated, I want people to stay with him. Talk to him. Let him know he is not alone. But the risk of infection, Zixona protested. We will take precautions, Dr. Park said. But I think the risk of continued isolation is greater than the risk of infection. Veltar looked down at his dying general. The old warrior had always been strong, always independent, but now he was dying despite the best medical care their empire could provide. What would you have us do? Veltar asked. Stay with him, Dr. Park said simply. Hold his hand. Talk to him about good memories. Let him know that he is valued and loved. Sometimes the most powerful medicine is knowing that someone cares. The aliens were silent for a long moment. Then Veltar moved to the bed and carefully took the general's massive hand in his own. Old friend, he said softly, I am here. We are all here. You are not alone. For the first time in days, the general's breathing became a little easier. The monitors showed his stress levels beginning to drop. Dr. Park smiled. Knowing they had taken the first step toward healing, outside the hospital, news crews gathered as word spread around the world. The scariest beings in the galaxy had come. 2 humans for help. And the humans had welcomed them with open arms. Dr. Park Min-ho had not slept in 24 hours. He sat beside General Kextel's bed, watching the alien patient carefully. The general's breathing was stronger now, but he was still unconscious. The strange neural plague continued to attack. His brain. "Doctor, you should rest," said Li Juan, the head nurse. She had volunteered to help care for the alien patient despite the risks. "I can watch him for a while." "I'm fine," Dr. Park replied, though his eyes were heavy with exhaustion. I need to understand how his body works." "Everything depends on it." Commander Veltar had not left the room either. The massive alien warrior sat on the floor beside the bed, holding his general's hand. Other Vorthok soldiers took turns staying with their leader. Following Dr. Park's instructions about not leaving him alone, "His fever is dropping," Dr. Kim Sora reported, checking the monitors. "Whatever you're doing, it's working."
Dr. Park nodded.
But he knew they were far from a cure. The neural plague was still there, still eating away at the general's brain. The human approach was helping, but it was not enough on its own. Dr. Park Veltar said quietly, "May I ask you something?" "Of course. Why do you touch him so much?" "Your hands, I mean. You check his pulse, feel his forehead, hold his wrist. Our healers use machines for everything." Dr. Park thought about the question. Human touch is important for healing. When we touch someone who is sick, we can feel things that machines cannot detect. But more than that, touch tells the patient that someone cares about them. "Difficult for us to understand," Veltar admitted. "Vorthok warriors are taught to be strong and independent. We do not touch others unless we are fighting them." "But you're touching him now?" Dr. Park pointed out. Veltar looked down at his general's hand, still clasped in his own massive grip. "Yes, it feels strange, but also right somehow."
Ow.
Dr. Park smiled. "That's the beginning of healing." As the hours passed, more members of the Vorthok crew began showing symptoms of the neural plague. Dr. Park quickly realized that the disease was spreading faster than anyone had expected. Soon half the alien warriors were feeling weak and dizzy. "We need to isolate the infected ones," healer Zixana said urgently. "Standard medical protocol requires immediate quarantine." "No," Dr. Park said firmly. "Isolation made the general worse. We need to do the opposite." "It makes no sense," Zixana argued. "You will cause the disease to spread faster." "Maybe," Dr. Park admitted. "But I think the disease spreads because of fear and stress, not just physical contact. The more afraid and alone your people feel, the weaker their bodies become." Dr. Park called for more human staff to help. Dr. Choi Hoon, the hospital's research coordinator, arrived with a team of specialists. Nurse Kong Doyen brought supplies and equipment. Together, they began treating the sick aliens not as dangerous enemies, but as patients who needed care. "I want each alien patient to have a human caregiver," Dr. Park instructed his team. "Sit with them, talk to them, let them know they are not alone. Show them the same kindness you would show any human patient." The human staff was nervous at first. These were the most feared beings in the galaxy, after all. But as they began working with the aliens, something unexpected happened. The humans started to see past the frightening appearance to the frightened beings underneath. "This one is scared," Nurse Li Juan whispered to Dr. Park. She was caring for a young Vorthok warrior who was burning with fever. "He keeps asking for his mother." "His mother?" Dr. Park asked, surprised. "Even the scariest warriors were children." Once Nurse Li said softly. "They had families who loved them." Dr. Park realized she was right. These aliens were not just soldiers or patients. They were people with families, hopes, and fears, just like humans. "Tell him his mother would be proud of how brave he is being," Dr. Park said. "And stay with him. Don't let him face this alone." Breakthrough came on the third day. Dr. Park was checking on General Kextel when the alien's eyes suddenly opened. The general looked around the room, confused and weak but clearly aware. "Where am I?" Kextel asked, in a voice like grinding stone. "You are safe," Veltar said, tears streaming down his face. "You are in a human healing place. These humans have saved your life." General Kextel looked at Dr. Park. "You are the healer." "I am a doctor," Dr. Park replied. "How do you feel?" "Weak but alive," the general said. "I remember the plague, the pain in my head, but now the pain is gone." Dr. Park ran tests and found that the neural plague had completely disappeared from the general system. Not only that, but all the other infected Vorthok were also recovering rapidly. "How is this possible?" Zixana asked, staring at the medical readings in amazement. Your primitive medicine should not be able to cure what our advanced systems could not. It's not our medicine, Dr. Park explained. It's our approach. We don't just treat the disease, we treat the whole person. Body, mind, and spirit together. I do not understand, Zixana said. Dr. Park gathered the human staff and the alien crew in the hospital's main room. In human medicine, we have learned that healing is not just about fixing what is broken. It's about caring for the person who is hurt. When someone is sick, they need medicine, yes. They also need to know that someone cares about them, that they are not alone, that they have value as a living being. He looked around the room at the humans and aliens sitting together. The neural plague was real, but it was made worse by fear and isolation. When we showed your people that they were not alone, when we touched them with kindness instead of fear, their bodies became strong enough to fight the disease. Commander Veltar stood up slowly. You are saying that caring about someone can actually heal them? Not by itself, Dr. Park said. But, combined with good medicine, yes. The mind and body are connected. When the mind is peaceful and knows it is loved, the body heals faster and stronger. General Kexthal struggled to sit up in his bed. In all my years of war, I have never seen anything like this. Humans are not the weak creatures we thought you were. We are not weak, Dr. Park said. But we are not strong in the way you understand strength. Our strength comes from caring for others, from never giving up on someone. Who needs help? This caring, Veltar said slowly. Can it be learned? Dr. Park smiled. You are already learning it. Every time you held your general's hand, every time you stayed with him instead of leaving him alone, you were practicing the art of healing. As news of the miraculous recovery spread through the galaxy, other species began to take notice. Most feared warriors in known space had been saved not by advanced weapons or technology, but by simple human kindness. The universe would never be the same again. 2 weeks after General Kexel's recovery, the first ship arrived. It was unlike anything humans had ever seen before. The vessel seemed to be made of living shadow, shifting and changing shape as it moved through space. It was a ship of the Void Hunters, beings so feared that entire star systems evacuated when they approached. Dr. Park Minho stood on the hospital rooftop. Watching the dark ship land beside the Vorthok transport, he was no longer surprised by alien visitors. Word had spread quickly through the galaxy about the human healers who could cure the incurable. Dr. Kim Sora called from behind him. They're requesting permission to bring patients aboard. Many? Dr. Park asked. 12. All of them are young ones, children by their standards. Dr. Park nodded. Prepare the pediatric ward and call Dr. Ru Wujin. We're going to need his expertise with young patients. The Void Hunters were even more terrifying than the Vorthok. They stood for meters tall and seemed to be made of living darkness. Their bodies shifted between solid and shadow, and they had no visible faces, only glowing white eyes that floated in the darkness of their heads. But when they carried their children into the hospital, Dr. Park saw something that made his heart ache. The young Void Hunters were fading away, becoming more transparent with each passing hour. They were literally disappearing. We call it the dimming, explained their leader, a being who called himself Shadowbane. Our young ones lose their form and fade into nothing. It has been happening for 3 generations now. Dr. Ru Wujin, a pediatrician with 20 years of experience, examined the alien children with gentle hands. They're scared, he told Dr. Park quietly. Terrified, actually. I think fear is literally making them disappear. How can we help them? Dr. Park asked. The same way we help any frightened child, Dr. Ru replied. With patience, kindness, and lots of love. The human staff worked around the clock to care for the fading children. Nurse Kong Doyan sat with them, reading human stories and singing soft songs. The alien children could not understand the words, but they responded to the gentle tone and caring presence. Look, Dr. Ru said excitedly after 3 days of treatment. They're becoming more solid. It was true. The young Void Hunters were no longer fading. Their bodies were becoming more real, more permanent. The fear was leaving their eyes, replaced by something like hope. Before the Void Hunters could leave, another ship arrived. This one was made of metal and crystal, with mechanical parts that moved like living organs. It belonged to the Titan, collective beings who had merged themselves with machines thousands of years ago. "We suffer from soul decay," their representative explained. His name was Unit 7439, though the humans started calling him Titan for simplicity. "We have forgotten how to feel. Our emotions have withered away. We are alive, but we are not living."
Dr. Songmina,
The hospital's chief psychiatrist, took charge of treating the Titan collective. "They've cut themselves off from their emotions for so long that they've forgotten they ever had them," she explained to Dr. Park. "It's like they've built walls around their hearts." "Can we help them?" Dr. Park asked. "We can try," Dr. Song replied. "It'll take time. They need to learn to feel again, one emotion at a time." The treatment was slow and difficult. Titans had to be taught basic emotions like happiness, sadness, and fear. Dr. Song used art therapy, music, and simple human activities like gardening to help them reconnect with their feelings. "I think I understand now," Titan said one day, holding a flower that he had grown in the hospital garden. "This small plant makes me feel something I had forgotten. Is this what you call joy?" "Yes," Dr. Song smiled. "That's exactly what joy feels like." As word continued to spread, more and more species arrived at Earth. The crystalline collective, beings of pure energy, came seeking treatment for what they called existence anxiety. The hive mind of Zarian arrived with members who had become separated from the collective consciousness and were suffering from loneliness. Dr. Park found himself leading a growing team of human healers. Dr. Choi Haeon established research programs to study each new species and their unique medical needs. Dr. Lim Sung-ho developed new treatment protocols that combined human medicine with alien biology. "We're not just treating diseases anymore," Dr. Park told his team during one of their daily meetings. "We're healing the wounds that entire civilizations have been carrying for centuries." The hospital had to expand rapidly to handle all the patients. The Earth government provided funding and support, realizing that their planet had become the medical center of the galaxy. New wings were built, new equipment was installed, and hundreds of human doctors and nurses were trained to work with alien patients. But the most important part of the treatment remained the same: human caring and compassion. Every alien patient was assigned a human caregiver who would stay with them, talk to them, and make sure they never felt alone. It's amazing. Dr. Kim Sora said one evening as she watched a human nurse reading a story to a young crystalline being. 6 months ago, we didn't even know these species existed. Now we're treating them like family." "That's the secret," Dr. Park replied. "We don't see them as aliens or enemies, see them as people who need help, and people help people. That's what makes us human." The transformation was remarkable. The Void Hunters, once feared destroyers of worlds, began using their powers to help terraform dead planets into living worlds. The Titan Collective, having rediscovered their emotions, started creating beautiful art and music. The Crystalline Collective began sharing their knowledge of energy manipulation to help other species develop clean power. "You have done more than heal our bodies," General Keckstall told Dr. Park during one of his regular visits. "You have healed our souls. The Vorthok Empire is no longer an empire of conquest. We are becoming an empire of protection." "How so?" Dr. Park asked. "We use our strength to protect the weak instead of conquering them," Keckstall explained. "We learned from you humans that true strength comes from caring for others." As the year ended, Dr. Park stood on the hospital rooftop once again, looking up at the stars. The sky was full of ships from dozens of different species, all coming to Earth for healing. The planet that had once been ignored by the galaxy was now its most important world. Dr. Nurse Lee Guan joined him on the rooftop. "The Galactic Council has sent a message. They want to officially recognize Earth as the medical capital of the galaxy." Dr. Park smiled. "That we're honored, but we're too busy healing people to worry about titles," she replied with a laugh. "Good answer," Dr. Park said. "That's exactly what we should be doing." The galaxy was changing, one patient at a time. And it was all because humans had refused to let suffering go untreated. no matter how scary the patients might look. Dr. Park Min-ho sat in his office, surrounded by medical files from dozens of different alien species. It was late at night, and the hospital was quieter than usual. He had been studying the patterns of disease and recovery for months, and something important was becoming clear. Dr. Park, Dr. Choi Hyen, knocked on his door. "Have the research results you asked for?" "Come in," Dr. Park said, looking up from his papers. "What did you find?" Dr. Choi sat down and opened his tablet. "I've been studying the medical histories of all the species that have come to us for treatment. The pattern is remarkable and disturbing." "Tell me." "Every single species that we've treated has the same basic story," Dr. Choi explained. "They all started as peaceful, caring civilizations. Then something terrible happened to them, and they changed into the aggressive, militaristic societies. We know today," double quotes, Dr. Park leaned forward with interest. "What kind of terrible things?" "Vorthok suffered a plague that killed everyone in their society who was naturally caring and gentle," Dr. Choi said. "Only the warriors survived, so they built their entire culture around war and strength. And the Void Hunters? Their home dimension was collapsing. They had to consume the energy of other worlds to survive. After thousands of years of taking life to preserve their own, they forgot how to create and nurture life." Dr. Park nodded. Slowly, "What about the Titan Collective?" "They faced a biological weapon that attacked their emotional centers," Dr. Choi continued. "The only way to survive was to merge with machines and shut down their feelings completely. They've been emotionally dead for 3,000 years. So all of these species became dangerous because they were hurt first," Dr. Park said. "They were victims before they became threats." "Exactly. That's not all," Dr. Choi said. "I've been working with Dr. Yu Yemin, the new intern. He's made an incredible discovery about human biology." Dr. Yu Yemin was young and brilliant, fresh out of medical school. He had been studying blood samples from human caregivers who worked with alien patients. "What did he find?" Dr. Park asked. "Humans produce a unique combination of biochemicals when they care for others," Dr. Choi explained. "These chemicals seem to have healing properties that work on most carbon-based life forms." "That's interesting, but many species have healing compounds in their bodies," Dr. Park pointed out. "But not like this," Dr. Choi said excitedly. "The human compounds don't just heal physical damage. They seem to repair emotional and psychological trauma as well. And here's the most amazing part. The stronger the human's emotional connection to the patient, the more powerful the healing compounds become." Dr. Park was quiet for a moment, processing this information. "You're saying that caring about someone actually makes us better healers?" "That's exactly what I'm saying. Love, compassion, empathy, these aren't just nice feelings. For humans, they're literal healing powers." The next morning, Dr. Park called a meeting with all the senior staff. He shared Dr. Choi's findings with the human doctors and nurses, as well as the alien medical officers who had stayed to learn from human techniques. "This explains why our methods work when advanced alien medicine fails," Dr. Park said.
Where?
"Not just treating symptoms. We're healing the original wounds that created the problems in the first place." Healer Zixona, who had remained at the hospital to study human medicine, raised her hand. "Are you saying that human emotions have actual medical effects?" "That's right," Dr. Park replied. "When we show genuine care and compassion for a patient, our bodies produce compounds that help heal not just physical injuries, but emotional and psychological trauma as well." "But how is this possible?" asked Units 1439, the Titan who had learned to feel emotions again. "Why would evolution create such a system?" Dr. Park thought carefully before answering. "Maybe because humans have always lived in groups, we survived. By taking care of each other, humans who were best at caring for others were more likely to survive and have children. Over thousands of years, this created a species that is naturally good at healing. But other species live in groups too," Shadowbane pointed out. "The Vorthok have always been a warrior society. We Void Hunters travel in fleets." "Yes, but human groups are different," Dr. Park said. "We don't just work together. We care about each other's well-being. We help even when there's no benefit to ourselves. Take care of the weak instead of leaving them behind." Dr. Songmina nodded in agreement. I've been studying the psychological profiles of all our patients. The species that came to us for help all share one common trait. They had lost their ability to care for others without expecting something in return. The Vorthok only helped those who could fight, she continued. The Void Hunters only cared about their own survival. The Titan Collective eliminated emotions entirely. They all lost the ability to love without conditions. And humans never lost that ability, Dr. Park said. Even after wars, disasters, and terrible suffering, we still take care of each other. We still help strangers who need help. Dr. Yu Yemen spoke up from the back of the room. I've been studying human history. We faced plagues, wars, natural disasters, and genocides. But we always rebuilt our societies around the idea of caring. For others, other species became more aggressive when they suffered. We became more compassionate. That's why you can heal us, General Kextol said. He had been listening quietly from the side of the room. You have something we lost long ago? You have the ability to care about others without fear. Without fear? Dr. Park asked. Lefstall replied. When I was first brought here, I was afraid to show weakness. I was afraid to accept help. I was afraid to let anyone care about me. But you humans showed me that accepting care is not weakness. It is wisdom. That's the key, Dr. Park said. We don't just heal diseases. We heal the fear that prevents healing. We show other species that it's safe to be vulnerable, safe to accept help, safe to care about others. The room was quiet as everyone absorbed this information. Finally, Shadowbane spoke. So the most feared species in the galaxy came to the smallest, weakest species for healing, he said. And it worked because the weak species had the one thing. The strong species had lost. What's that? Dr. Park asked. Love, Shadowbane replied simply. You humans never forgot how to love. Dr. Park smiled. And that's why we can heal you. Because healing isn't just about medicine, it's about love. And love is the most powerful healing force in the universe. As the meeting ended, Dr. Park realized that they had discovered something that would change the galaxy forever. The secret wasn't in human technology or human intelligence. It was in the human heart, the ability to care for others without conditions, to help without expecting reward, to love without fear. This was humanity's true gift to the galaxy, not just the ability to heal bodies, but the ability to heal souls. 1 year after the first alien ship had landed at Seoul National University Hospital, Dr. Park Min-ho stood before the newly formed Galactic Council. The meeting was being held on Earth, in a building that had been constructed specifically for interspecies cooperation. The transformation has been remarkable, Dr. Park said, addressing the assembled representatives from over 50 different species. When we first started treating alien patients, we were just trying to help individuals who were sick. We had no idea we were healing entire civilizations. In the audience, General Kexthal nodded approvingly. The former conqueror now served. As the Vorthok Empire's Minister of Peace, his warriors had become protectors instead of invaders. Using their strength to defend weak species rather than conquering them, the Vorthok military has established healing centers in every system under our protection, Kexel reported. Our warriors are being trained not just in combat, but in caring for others. It has made us stronger than we ever were as mere conquerors. Shadowbane, representing the Void Hunters, spoke next. My people have learned to give life instead of taking it. We use our powers to restore dead worlds, to bring forests and oceans back to planets that were destroyed by war. The young ones no longer fade away because they are no longer afraid of their own existence. Unit 7439, now calling himself Titan Hope, stood to address the council. The Titan Collective has rediscovered the emotions we thought were weaknesses. Our art, our music, our poetry, all of it has returned. We are no longer machines pretending to be alive. We are alive and proud of it. Dr. Park smiled as he listened to the reports. The changes went far beyond what anyone had imagined possible. The galaxy's most feared species had become its greatest protectors and creators. But the most important change, Dr. Park continued, is not in what these species do, but in how they think. They have learned that strength comes from caring for, others, not from dominating them. Dr. Kim Sora, now serving as Earth's Director of Galactic Medical Relations, presented her report. We have established the Terran Healing Corps, with human medical personnel serving on ships and stations throughout the galaxy. Every major star system now has at least one human healer, working alongside local medical staff. The program had been incredibly successful. Human doctors and nurses were in high demand across the galaxy, not just for their medical skills, but for their ability to provide emotional support and comfort to patients of any species. The most rewarding cases, Dr. Kim continued, are the new species we encounter. Just last month, we made contact with the coral builders of the Andromeda Galaxy. They are suffering from a collective depression that was killing their reef cities. 3 human therapists worked with them for 2 weeks, and now their cities are growing again. Dr. Ru Wujin, who had become the galaxy's leading expert in alien pediatric medicine, shared his own observations. For the children are the most important. Part of this transformation, young beings who grow up receiving human care and compassion develop differently than their parents. They're more open, more caring, more willing to help others. We're not just healing individuals, Dr. Ru explained. We're changing the basic nature of these species. The next generation will be more like humans in their capacity for love and compassion. Dr. Park nodded. This brings us to the most important question facing the galaxy today. How do we make sure these changes are permanent? How do we prevent future generations from losing the ability to care for others? The answer came from an unexpected source. Dr. Yu Yemin, the young intern who had discovered the biological basis of human healing, had been working on a project with alien scientists. We've been studying the biochemical changes that occur when species learn to care for others, Dr. Yu explained. The ability to produce healing compounds when feeling compassion can be developed in other species. It's not unique to humans. We just never lost it. What are you saying? Dr. Park asked. I'm saying we can teach other species to heal the way humans do, Dr. Yu replied. Not just the medical techniques, but the emotional and biochemical responses that make human healing so effective. The implications were staggering. If other species could develop the same healing abilities that humans possessed, the galaxy would never again face the kind of widespread suffering that had created the aggressive warrior cultures of the past. The training program has already begun, Dr. Yu continued. We're working with volunteers from every species, teaching them not just medical skills, but empathy, compassion, and unconditional care. The results are promising. Dr. Park looked around the council chamber at the representatives of species that had once been mortal enemies. How they worked together, learning from each other, helping each other grow and heal. 1 year ago, Dr. Roost Park said, the scariest beings in the galaxy came to Earth because they were desperate. They expected us to be afraid of them. Instead, we welcomed them with open arms, showed them that there was another way to live. He paused, looking at each representative in turn. Today, the galaxy is a different place. Wars are becoming rare. Instead of conquering planets, species are healing them. Instead of destroying each other, we're building a civilization based on mutual care and support. But our work is not finished, Dr. Park continued. There are still species out there who are suffering, who have lost their way, who need healing. The Terran Healing Corps will continue to seek them out, to offer them the same help we offered to you. General Kexthal stood up. The Vorthok Empire pledges its full support to this mission. Our ships will carry human healers to the farthest reaches of the galaxy. The Void Hunters will provide transportation and protection, Shadowbane added. No species is too dangerous for us to approach. The Titan Collective will share our technology and knowledge. Unit 7439 said, our emotion-enhanced science will support the healing mission. One by one, every species in the chamber pledged their support. The galaxy that had once been divided by fear and aggression was now united by a common purpose, healing. As the council meeting ended, Dr. Park walked to the window of the chamber. Outside, he could see the lights of the Galactic Medical Center, the largest hospital in the known universe. Human doctors and nurses worked alongside alien healers, treating patients from hundreds of different worlds. Dr. Park, a young voice, called out. He turned to see a small being he didn't recognize, a member of a species that had just made contact with the galactic community. "My name is Kalu," the being said in careful English. "My people heard about the human healers. We have a sickness of the heart that we cannot cure. Will you help us?" Dr. Park smiled and knelt down to the young alien's level. "Of course we'll help you. That's what we do." As he led Kelu toward the medical center, Dr. Park reflected on how much had changed. The galaxy's most feared species had become its greatest healers. The scariest beings in the universe had learned to care for others with the same intensity they'd once used to destroy. And it had all started with a simple human truth. When someone is hurt, you help them. It doesn't matter who they are or what they look like. You help them because that's what makes you human. The galaxy was healing, one patient at a time. And Dr. Park Minho, a simple doctor from Earth, had been privileged to watch it happen.